The velvet box felt heavier than it should have. Mark didn't look at me as he slid my wedding ring, the one crowned with my grandmother's rare pear-cut diamond, off my finger. His touch was clinical, stripped of the warmth that once defined our decade of marriage. He muttered something about loose prongs needing urgent repair at the jeweler downtown, but his voice lacked conviction. I watched him slip the symbol of our life into his pocket, his eyes flickering toward his buzzing phone like it held secrets. I wasn't meant to know. "Back by dinner, Elena," he said, already halfway to the door. He didn't notice what I had noticed. The boutique hotel charge on our shared statement, the faint trace of expensive lilies clinging to his coat, a scent I never wore. So I followed him, quietly, carefully. My heart pounded against my ribs like a trapped bird desperate for escape. The jewelry store smelled of polish and old money, the kind of place where whispers felt louder than words. I stood behind a marble pillar, watching, waiting. Mark leaned over the glass counter, pulling out my ring. But he wasn't talking about repairs. He was smiling. At her, a girl, no, a woman, barely half my age, with platinum hair and effortless confidence. "Resize this to a 5, Mark said casually, sliding the ring forward. "I want it ready, for tonight's gala." The words didn't just hurt, they hollowed something inside me. That ring wasn't just jewelry, it was history, blood, legacy, and he was reshaping it for someone else. Then suddenly, a hand dropped onto his shoulder. Heavy, unmoving. Mark froze. Slowly, he turned, and came face to face with Arthur Vance, my father's oldest friend, the city's most respected gemologist, a man who didn't miss details and never tolerated deception. Arthur's grip tightened slightly. "That's a remarkable piece, Mark," he said, his voice low but carrying across the room like distant thunder. "Strange, though. I distinctly remember it being crafted for Elena's hand. Why the change?" Mark's face drained of color. Words failed him. The girl beside him sighed impatiently. "Is there a problem, babe?" Arthur's gaze shifted. To her, then back to Mark. A faint, dangerous smile touched his lips. "Babe?" he echoed. "I wasn't aware Elena had undergone such a transformation." The tension snapped tight. Mark forced a laugh, dry and brittle. "It's for a cousin. Just a surprise." Arthur picked up the ring, examining it under the light with deliberate care. "A surprise," he repeated softly. "Interesting. Though, I doubt Elena enjoys surprises involving her inheritance." The girl frowned, irritation flashing. "Mark, who is this man? Just tell him to fix it so we can go." Arthur didn't even look at her this time. "I'm the man who appraised this diamond 30 years ago," he said. "And I'm also the man who knows Elena never gave permission for it to be altered." The door chimed softly, and I stepped forward. My heels echoed across the marble floor, slow, deliberate, final. Mark turned, his eyes widened in pure shock. "Elena!" I didn't cry, didn't shout, didn't break. I simply walked up to the counter and extended my hand. "I came for what belongs to me." My voice was calm. Too calm. The girl looked between us, realization crashing over her. "Wait, this ring is yours?" I didn't even acknowledge her. My eyes stayed locked on Mark. "The prongs weren't loose," I said quietly. "But our marriage is." I picked up the ring, and in that moment, his phone buzzed loudly. The notification lit up the screen before he could hide it. "The prenuptial audit is flagged. Elena has frozen the primary accounts." Silence swallowed the room. Mark's expression twisted, from shock to anger to something desperate and ugly. "You've been tracking me?" he hissed. I met his gaze without blinking. "I wasn't tracking a husband," I said evenly. "I was auditing a liability." The words landed harder than any scream ever could. The girl stepped back, her confidence cracking as reality set in. The life she thought she was stepping into was already collapsing. Arthur moved closer, placing a steady, protective hand on my shoulder. "The attempted alteration has been logged," he said calmly. "It will be very useful in court." Mark reached out, too late, for reasons that no longer mattered. I turned away before he could touch me, because the truth was simple now. The power he believed he had always been borrowed from me, and I had just taken it back. Sunlight poured through the glass doors as I stepped outside, leaving behind the man who had mistaken betrayal for control and lies for love. The ring slid back onto my finger, settling into place like it never should have left. Gold can be melted, reshaped, reused, but a woman's dignity, that is forged in fire, and once it hardens, it never breaks again.